Have you ever been so humiliated at work that you want to crawl under your desk and never come out? Well, what I'm about to tell you happened in a conference room that could be anywhere in America. 15 people watching. Monday morning meeting. And my boss looked me dead in the eye and said something so devastating that it changed everything. I give you something challenging, Adrienne, but with your track record, I think you should stick with making the coffee and taking notes. The room erupted in laughter. Not nervous chuckles. Actual laughter. At my expense. In front of my entire team. I sat there, pen trembling in my hand, wondering if I had just been publicly demoted to office coffee girl. Have you ever felt that burning in your chest when everyone's laughing at you, not with you? That moment when you realize the joke? But here's what nobody in that room knew, including my boss, Vincent Harper. What happened next didn't just transform my career. It brought down an entire toxic system and made Vincent's name a cautionary tale in corporate training seminars. If you ever felt invisible at work, you absolutely need to hear this story. Hit that like button because this gets intense. Let me tell you about Adrienne Fletcher. She wasn't born into privilege or handed opportunities on a silver platter. Raised by a single mother in Spokane, Washington, she was the first person in her family to go to college, the first to land a professional job. While other kids were hanging out after school, Adrienne was working part-time jobs to help pay bills. She studied human resources because she believed in creating fair workplaces where everyone could succeed. She interned at local offices, built her resume through pure determination, and graduated with honors. When Sentinel Solutions offered her that entry-level HR position, it felt like winning the lottery. This was her shot at corporate America, a mid-sized software company with a reputation for innovation, the kind of place where hard work actually mattered. For her first 2 months, everything seemed perfect. Adrienne stayed late solving problems, no matter how small. Her team loved her positive attitude. She was friendly, diligent, and eager to prove herself. Management noticed her dedication. But there was one person who preferred employees who never questioned his authority. Vincent Harper. 12 years with the company. Charismatic, clever, and absolutely ruthless to anyone who threatened his control. Adrienne had no idea she was about to become his next target. Because in Vincent's world, ambitious young women like Adrienne needed to be put in their place. And he was about to do it in the most public, humiliating way possible. Monday morning. Conference room A. Vincent had just returned from a management seminar, pumped up about implementing transparency and accountability. Translation: he was about to flex his power in front of everyone. Adrienne arrived early, notebook ready, genuinely excited. These meetings could go either way, motivational pep talks or thinly disguised lectures. She was hoping for the former. The room filled with her colleagues, everyone chatting and settling in. Normal Monday energy. Coffee cups, laptops opening, the usual workplace buzz. When Vincent walked in, his booming voice cut through the conversation like a knife. All right, let's get started. He began handing out assignments for the new quarterly project. Adrienne listened carefully, hoping to finally get something substantial, something that would prove she belonged in that room. Vincent worked his way around the table. Marketing got the client presentations. Finance got budget analysis. Operations got system upgrades. Real responsibilities. Important work. When he reached Adrienne, everything changed. Vincent stopped. He pretended to squint at her like he was seeing her for the first time, that trademark smirk spreading across his face. The room went quiet. Everyone sensed something was coming. Well, Adrienne, he looked her up and down, making sure everyone was watching, making sure this moment would be witnessed. I give you something challenging, but with your track record, I think you should stick with making the coffee and taking notes. Silence. Dead silence. You could hear the air conditioning humming. Her heart stopped. Did he really just say that? In front of everyone? Coffee and notes? Like she was some intern who wandered in by mistake? The laughter started small. A nervous giggle from someone in the back. Another person joined in. Within seconds, half the room was laughing. Some looked uncomfortable, but laughed anyway. Others exchanged glances, unsure whether to join the joke or look away in horror. Adrienne's chest burned with shame. Her mind went blank. The pen in her hand started trembling as she pretended to take notes. The very thing she'd just been reduced to. Drop a comment if you've ever had a boss like Vincent, because what happened next gets so much worse. After the meeting, Vincent patted her shoulder like nothing happened. Lighten up, Adrienne. Lighten up? She'd just been publicly humiliated, and he wanted her to lighten up? The aftermath was brutal. Colleagues awkwardly avoided eye contact in the hallway. A few offered weak sympathy. He's just joking. Don't take it personally. But the damage was done. The story spread through the office like wildfire. Lunchroom conversations, after-work drinks, water cooler gossip. Adrienne became the punchline. Special task force, coffee and notes. They thought it was hilarious. Her confidence crumbled. Every time she walked those halls, she replayed that moment. The laughter, the looks, the burning shame of being reduced to nothing in front of everyone who mattered. But here's what started eating at her. Vincent didn't stop there. She began noticing his pattern. The cutting remarks to other employees. The way he belittled anyone who showed potential. The subtle cruelty disguised as leadership. Adrienne's public humiliation was just his latest performance. Rumors quietly circulated that higher-ups had received complaints before. Nothing ever happened. Vincent was untouchable. Weeks dragged by. Her work friend Priya Desai watched Adrienne withdraw into herself. "You don't deserve this," Priya said over lunch one day. "We all saw what happened. It was wrong." That's when Vincent made his fatal mistake. He called Adrienne into his office for what should have been a routine check-in. But Vincent couldn't help himself. Behind closed doors, he launched into another attack. "That last report was pretty thin stuff. Adrienne, are you sure you're cut out for this industry?" Her pulse pounded. But this time, something was different. Something inside Adrienne had shifted. The fear was still there, but it was mixed with something much more powerful. Rage. Adrienne looked Vincent dead in the eye and said something that shocked them both. "Vincent, with respect, I have always exceeded deadlines. I'd appreciate feedback in private, not in meetings, and not as a joke at my expense." His face went red. He scoffed and waved her off. Grow a thicker skin. But Adrienne was done growing thicker skin to accommodate his cruelty. That night, she sat at her kitchen table with a legal pad and started writing. Every incident, every cruel joke, every time Vincent had humiliated her or anyone else. Dates, times, witnesses. She was methodical, building her case like the professional she'd always been. Priya had given her the courage to start, but now Adrienne was running on pure determination. Document everything. Priya had said, build a paper trail they can't ignore. The formal complaint took her 3 drafts. Professional but direct. No emotion, just facts. She wasn't asking for sympathy. She was demanding accountability. When she hit send on that email to HR, her hands were steady. No more trembling. No more fear. Within days, something extraordinary happened. Other employees started coming forward. Vincent's reign of workplace terror had touched more people than anyone realized. The quiet whispers became formal statements. He made me feel stupid in front of clients. He questioned my competence constantly. I thought it was just me. HR launched an anonymous company-wide survey, a formal climate review. For the first time, employees could speak honestly about leadership without fear of retaliation. The responses were damning. Vincent's pattern of bullying wasn't secret anymore. It was documented evidence. 2 weeks later, Vincent Harper was suspended pending investigation. The office atmosphere shifted overnight. People walked taller. Conversations became more open. The fear that had dominated their workplace for years was finally lifting. But Vincent wasn't going down without a fight. His allies tried to defend him, claiming it was all misunderstood humor and oversensitive employees. If you believe in standing up for yourself, smash that subscribe button. Because justice was just getting started. The investigation was thorough. Dozens of testimonies. Reviewed emails. A clear pattern of harassment and unprofessional conduct that management could no longer ignore. Vincent Harper was terminated from Sentinel Solutions for violation of company values. His 12-year career? Over. His reputation in the industry? Destroyed. Some clients, hearing about his behavior, dropped their contracts entirely. The man who once wielded power through intimidation became a cautionary tale used in corporate anti-bullying seminars. Meanwhile, Adrienne flourished. She was transferred to a new team with a supervisor who actually believed in developing talent instead of destroying it. Within 6 months, she received her first promotion. Within a year, she was leading projects that would have seemed impossible during those dark conference room days. But the transformation went beyond just one person. Sentinel Solutions completely overhauled their culture. Mandatory respect in the workplace training, anonymous reporting hotlines, zero-tolerance policies that actually meant something. The toxic environment that had protected Vincent for years was dismantled piece by piece. Adrienne's courage didn't just save her career. It saved countless future employees from experiencing what she went through during her exit interview. Because, yes, she eventually left for an even better opportunity. HR asked if she considered staying with the company. Her response was perfect. "I'm grateful for the lessons, but everyone deserves a workplace where they're valued for their contributions, not mocked for existing." She's now an HR director at a major firm, one where employee dignity isn't negotiable. But more importantly, she mentors young professionals entering corporate America, teaching them the lesson that changed everything for her. The woman who was once reduced to coffee and notes was now the person others turned to when they needed someone to believe in their potential. Today, Adrienne Fletcher teaches young professionals one non-negotiable truth. Your self-respect is not up for debate. She tells them about that Monday morning in conference room A, about the laughter, about the shame that nearly broke her. But more importantly, she tells them about the moment she decided to fight back. Nobody has a right to make you feel small, she says. And when they try, you have two choices: accept it or demand better. Adrienne chose to demand better, not just for herself, but for everyone who came after her. Her story proves that sometimes the moments that seem designed to destroy us actually give us the strength to rebuild everything. Vincent thought he was putting her in her place. Instead, he gave her the fuel to transform an entire workplace culture. The conference room where she was humiliated, it now has a plaque about respectful communication. What would you have done in Adrienne's shoes? Would you have stayed silent or found your voice? Let us know in the comments below. If this story inspired you to stand up for yourself, make sure to subscribe for more real-life stories that prove courage can change everything. Sometimes it takes everyone laughing at you to find the courage to make them respect you.